When it comes to using the low temperature roasting mode in the Thermador Steam Oven for pork, you have to be very careful not to get the cuts of pork confused. The low temperature roast mode at 200 degrees is designed for cooking lean, tender cuts of meat. If you want to braise a pork shoulder or a pork butt or a blade roast, then you need to use the combination convection steam mode at 320 degrees. Those types of meat have more muscle in them, and it takes a long time to break that muscle down. You need slightly higher heat to do it. With the lean tender cuts of meat, the benefit is that the way the heat penetrates slowly into the food, it doesn't toughen the meat. I find with pork loin roast, because there's so little fat, I always sear it before I cook it. Again, I'm using a little bit of coconut oil because of the high heat tolerance. I want to get a nice pleasing browning on the pork. So I've heated the pan on the induction cooktop. I used level 6 to get the pan to the temperature where I wanted it. No point in being in a hurry. You don't want blackened, you don't want the outside to be blackened. You want it to be pleasingly golden brown. Now, it will take about 2 hours to cook the pork loin in the low temperature roast mode. And because the temperature is so low, you can't really cook anything else at the same time. Well, no vegetables. But you could cook another piece of meat. You could cook your turkey breast. You could have the 2 trays in the oven if you like, or have a big tray with a piece of pork and the turkey. But once the pork comes out and it's resting before you carve it, you can change the mode to convection roast, increase the temperature, and roast a tray of vegetables. Once you have a nice golden crust on the exterior of the pork loin roast, you can place it in the solid pan or on a rimmed baking sheet and slide it into the oven. Choose the low temperature roasting mode at 200 degrees. Remember to fill the canister with water before you start the cooking. This pork loin is quite large, it's 3.5 pounds. I estimate that if I was cooking it at 350, it would take approximately an hour. With this method of low temperature roasting, I know it's going to take about 2 hours. When you're doing this for the first time, having an instant read thermometer handy will be a great help to you so that you don't undercook or overcook the meat. When you slice the pork loin roast, the meat is going to look a lot more pink than when you roast it at high temperatures. As long as you've checked the internal temperature of the meat and it's within 150 to 160 degrees, it's perfectly cooked. But if you're worried that it's a little bit too pink, simply slice it, arrange it on a platter, and then put the platter back in the steam oven to refresh it for a few minutes. Remember, because of the very gentle nature of the heat circulating around the meat does not go through that high heat process where it dries out and changes color.